Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'd like to say how much I appreciate your leadership, and it is a source of pride for all of us on the committee that the very first hearing that we had in this committee, in this session, was on reducing prescription drugs. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Ms. Skipper, you said that you're 23 years old and you're tired. We're tired. Like you, that millions of families are suffering. It's not only those of you individually battling this, but all the people who love you and support you in this journey. And the fact that you have to weaponize your lived experience in order to be seen and heard. You thank us for listening, but I think that's too low a bar. It is high time we act. And you are rationing life-saving medications, and it seems that for far too long we've been rationing our response and our compassion and our due diligence. And so it is critical that we act, and we act in a bipartisan fashion. Although insulin has not changed since the mid-1990s, its price has skyrocketed, and communities of color have been disproportionately impacted. According to the American Diabetic Association, Black and Latino Americans are more than 70% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes than white Americans. And 1 in 3 adults in this country will have diabetes by 2050. The price of insulin has nearly tripled from $3,200 to $6,000 over the last decade, an impossible price tag, especially for our young people and young adults. Ms. Skipper, could you just speak to how have you been obtaining insulin in recent months and years?
Through donations from people from my community, my church, and sharing with my sister. That's burdensome also, because I feel like I'm taking away from people who could also be using this life-sustaining medicine. But it also makes me appreciate that there is some good in the world and the selflessness of some people. I can't tell you the last time that I filled a prescription for my insulin. So it's been really hard to just kind of guesstimate how long my supply is going to last.
And you talked about, getting a new job and one that includes employer-based health care coverage. So could you just speak a little bit about that and what that coverage has meant and what the difference has been?
I mean, it's meant good if I want to go to the doctor for like a checkup, go get my teeth cleaned, get some new glasses, go to the gynecologist or anything like that. But for what I actually need to live, it's hard. It's just really hard, and I just don't understand. I just don't understand.
And so I want to dig into that a little bit more, because there are other associated costs which people often overlook in this. So if you could just expound upon that a little bit.
Yes, so it's not just insulin. I need needles, I need test strips, I need like alcohol swabs, glucose tablets, extra food just in general. And then I also have celiac disease. So it's not like I can just eat anything or, so it's been very costly to live. And I do feel sometimes like I didn't put this on myself. So why do I have to suffer? Why do we have to suffer?
And so there was actually a recent BuzzFeed article that was just speaking about the fact that many 20-somethings who will no longer, if you're not carried on your parents' insurance, the precarious position that is putting so many young adults in. And it's particularly acute with regard to someone like you, living with type 1 diabetes. So I understand that you and your sister haven't been able to use a parent's insurance in recent years, but have faced similar struggles to those who have lost their parents' employer coverage at that age. Can you tell me what happened when your mother lost her job? When you were children? Oh, sis, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Just things started to spiral out of control. I was really scared. A few months after she lost her job, I was suicidal because I didn't want to continue to struggle. I didn't know how me and my sister were going to make it. I didn't know how my mom was even going to be able to provide for herself. So losing her coverage, it just put us in a really bad spot.
Well, thank you, Ms. Skipper. Thank all of you. And, you know, the fact that from hospitalizations to stockpiling or buying insulin on the black market, too many Americans are cutting corners in their medical care simply to stay alive. And that is just unacceptable. Thank you.